Riding and going on motorcycle road trips has become something I've become really interested in. But the problem is that even when you ride with friends, it can be quite difficult to communicate with each other on the road. That's why I wanted to pick up something called a motorcycle communicator. So obviously I went online to see what my options were, and I found this. It's a motorcycle communicator from a company called Freedconn, and it allows for two-way duplex communication as well as Bluetooth connectivity. But really? One entire pair of communicators for just 350 ringgit? For context, this Cardo Pack Talk Edge is over 1,600 ringgit for a single unit. How can two things that do the same thing have this big of a price gap? Well, let's find out. So the box itself is quite basic, and as is tradition on this show, it comes with a couple of dents and tears. But it's definitely not the worst I've seen. When you pop the lid, you're greeted with the communicators. They were smaller than I expected, but the glossy bits were protected with some tape. Kind of. There's some paperwork with fire graphics on them and a whole pack of individually packaged cables. Here you'll get every single cable and connector you need, including a clip mount and Velcro patches, two mics, speakers, plus some tools and charging cables. Installation though required a bit of trial and error. Obviously, since these were universal, nothing ever really fits properly. At first, I thought I'd be able to fit the mount directly into my helmet's communicator compartment since, the size looked about right. But while it fit, the lid wouldn't close over it, so yeah, I couldn't do that. So I had to use the clip mount, which took a little bit of wiggling, but eventually I got it to sit snugly between the shell and the foam. And that way, when I tucked my comfort liner in, everything was nicely hidden and quite secure. The communicator module itself clips right on, and from the looks of things, is not going to go anywhere, which is great. The next puzzle I had to tackle were the speakers. These came with a bunch of cables and a connector that you can use to connect to the microphone of your choice. By default, it's connected to the soft wired mic that's ideal for full-faced helmets, but if you have an open-faced helmet, there's a boom mic included too. Now, my helmet has a removable comfort liner, which made access to the inside of the lid very easy. On top of that, there are also little indentations in the safety foam that are designed for communicator speakers. Even then, it took quite a lot of fiddling and adjusting to get the cables routed and make sure nothing was loose or getting tangled in the helmet. Eventually though, I got it fitted. Okay, so this is the first mic test that I'm gonna do. Beautiful evening right now, and we're gonna go through the traffic. So I'm gonna do a bit of like low speed, low wind noise kind of traffic, and then we're gonna do a little bit of a mic check from like faster highway sections after this. Alright, so now we're going to hit the highway section. This is the lovely NTE, one of my favorite roads to ride on actually. Gonna go up to speed. So now the wind noise is significantly louder. My helmet's okay at cancelling out noise, it's got a chin curtain and stuff, but there's still a lot of wind coming in. This is with all my vents open, so maximum wind. I wonder how it sounds. I think it's I don't know. You tell me, like, what this is what it sounds like with all the vents open, going at highway speeds with the wind at full blast, and I'm probably shouting a bit, but well, let's hope this thing can clip properly. Like, goddamn, look at that view. Oh my god, so beautiful. It's one of the reasons why I love this highway. Since that first test, I've used the Freedconn T-COM quite extensively as part of my daily commute, and even on a 2-day, 1,000-kilometer road trip around the heart of the peninsula of Malaysia, and I've got a couple of thoughts to share. My main goals for this product was to have a duplex communicator that was easy to use, affordable, and had Bluetooth connectivity. And if those are your goals, then this FREEDCON will fit the bill. For starters, the control scheme on the communicator is really easy to pick up and use on the bike. There is a wheel that lets you adjust volume, among other things, a big button at the center of the wheel that can answer calls and switch audio modes, a small button in the front for power and intercom connectivity, and I can control everything even with a gloved hand. Because of that, using it as a Bluetooth headset to connect to your phone works quite well. I've had a couple of phone calls while on the bike with this system and have had no complaints. As you can hear with the mic recording, there's some wind noise that will seep through, but for the most part, I haven't heard anyone complain about excessive wind noise, whether in intercom or Bluetooth mode. There are, of course, a couple of issues, obviously. This is by no means a flawless replacement for those high-end Cardo or Sena packs. For starters, the audio quality on this FREEDCON is quite abysmal. If you're looking for great high-fidelity audio for music listening or podcasts or whatever, then this isn't the device for you. Audio is thin and focuses way more on the mids and highs with almost no bass whatsoever. You also apparently can't listen to music and have intercom on at the same time. So if you want to have Bluetooth music playing, you'll have to bump out of your intercom. But luckily, that's literally a press of the front button, and bumping back in just takes a couple of seconds. I think my biggest issue with listening has to be the volume when you're on the road. When we were blasting down the highway at completely normal highway speeds, it was quite difficult to hear what the other rider was saying or your music when the wind starts whipping around your helmet. I of course had earplugs in, but I think most people should ride with earplugs anyway, so I would have definitely appreciated a little bit more volume. But if you're just going around town at low speeds, you can hear each other just fine, so it was still very usable when we needed to make complex navigations in, unfamiliar locations. The next pain point for me was comfort. Even though my helmet came with little indents for the speakers to sit in, they still pressed up against my ear, and if you're going on long rides, you really start to feel the aching. I've tried adjusting it a couple of different times, but I haven't found a position that's super comfortable or that, completely removes this problem. I'd consider maybe thinning the padding a little bit more, around the indentations so that the speakers can sit a tiny bit deeper in them, but I haven't gotten around to really doing that on my helmet yet. Then again, I've also got big ears and a big head, so if you don't have those, maybe this won't be an issue. However, the thing I was probably most impressed with this communicator was just how incredible the battery life was. My colleague Hanif and I were on the road for 2 whole days, riding all day basically from sun up to sundown, and I never had to charge the communicator once, and we were connected the whole time. I was also surprised by the range that it achieved. Yes, on the Shopee listing it says 800 meters, and we never really got close to that, but we were comfortably doing about 400 meters with little to no issue with regards to connectivity. That said, your mileage will vary depending on where you are because it is a little bit susceptible to interference. Riding in a busy town, for example, cut our range down to about 200 meters, but that was still more than enough for what I needed. At the end of the day, I'm surprisingly happy with my purchase. It does everything I want it to do and even more because there are a couple of features I didn't even get to test. Stuff like, Bluetooth music sharing and pairing a third device. It even has a freaking radio for some reason.
Is $350 a lot of money for something like this? I don't think so. Like even if this was like the price you would pay, I would say it's a pretty good investment if you get a communicator that works properly and if you like to go on longer rides. I think it just changes the dynamic of the ride so much. Even short ones like 2-3 hour road trips, like it's so boring on the road when you can't like call out things like, hey, like this scenery is really cool, or like simple things like there was one time I needed to get gas and there was no way for me to tell the other person that I needed to fuel up. I can't believe I just said gas like an American, but you get my point. Petrol. It's tough, but with the communicator, right? Like you can tell stories, you can talk about stupid shit. Like it's great, it's fantastic. It changes the dynamic so much, right? It makes the ride just so much more enjoyable.
Considering the cost, and especially if you're splitting it with a friend, it's kind of hard to argue with what you get. The only concern I have with is how this device will hold up over time. It's obviously not exactly the best built product out there, and the worrying thing is that Hanif's communicator button has already fallen off. But of the two, mine is still in good condition, and I've ridden through rainstorms, I've dropped the thing a couple of times and generally just been quite the ape with it for about a month now, and it's still like that, so it's good news for me. But with things like these, only time can really tell. Sometimes you also get lemon products and then they're extra vulnerable, but sometimes you get really lucky with them, so that's kind of hard for me to test right now.
Alright, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know what you want to see next. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. So yeah, what should I buy next? Like, is like something like this too niche, or is it like just niche enough that you've been wanting to know but nobody has done like a review on it? So yeah, again, let me know what I should buy next. I enjoy doing this series. So yeah, let me know. And obviously, if you like this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell icon so that you don't miss any of our future uploads. We are also on social media, but our home on the internet will be at searchandshop.com. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Ciao.